going on, gang? Happy Monday. Happy Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Wonder if Green's off today. Wonder if they get that day off in Canada. Just to, be part of the team. Canadians are basically Americans, let's be honest. Let's be honest. We both have our problems. We both have our issues in how we've done things in the past, how we do things currently. You could say that we both made some mistakes. I think Canada has a pretty big ongoing issue, a historical problem during the civil rights movement in America with the indigenous tribes that have lived there. Green, would you like to explain for the class? Just kidding. But no. Today, obviously, it's a big deal. It's a big deal for civil rights. But man, I tell you, some nonsense over the weekend. Some things that have just gotten me thinking lately. I'm not this kind of guy. Usually, unless you get a few beers in me, then all bets are off. I don't usually like talking about politics and current events. One, because I know I'm not educated enough to talk about these things usually. I see headlines, Reddit posts, shorts, tweets, X's, whatever you want to call them. And I feel like I get my news from a diverse group of sources. But let's be honest. We all live in our own echo chambers. But I do want to just real quick talk about two things that have frustrated me a little bit this morning specifically, but it's been on my mind lately. Number one, a protester that was protesting against ICE for the death of Renee Good over in Minnesota was shot by a non-lethal round this weekend, sustained an eye injury, probably going to be blind in their eye for the rest of their life. They talked to a reporter and they said, yeah, this is, unbelievable. The doctors are telling me I'll never see again. Now, obviously, he means out of that eye. I'm sure his other eye's fine, but it's besides the point. The point is, I just don't know what people expect. I have, as I've stated, I've worked for the Army, so I've worked in part in the DoD. I've worked in the intelligence community. I've worked as a government contractor. I've done some work with the Air Force. Any federal defense organization in our country, I hate to break it to you guys, but they have the power, and if this guy tries to sue, or even if Rachel Good's family tries to sue, maybe they'll get something out of it, and as they should, right? Our government shouldn't be killing people, no matter the circumstance when it started off as a protest. And I'm not here to say that the protesters were the ones that were completely innocent either. Violence begets violence in a lot of these situations. Not saying who threw the first stone. That's besides the point. What I feel like is the point that I'm trying to explain is that people really are putting themselves in a bad situation when they decide to use physical force against any type of defense force that is tied to your government, whether that be the state government, the federal government. And I know the whole point in, doing these types of protests and getting, kind of showing a show of force from the citizens is, well, they need to know that they can't just walk all over us. Like, we will not stand for tyranny. We will not stand for, the government having control over our lives. And so we're going to protest, which, again, good. That's good that there are people out there. I probably will never be that person. And I'm sure a lot of people that watch this video are also never going to be one of those people. I think it takes a certain kind of person to feel like it's necessary to get out there and speak out against whatever's going on. But I'm not one of those people for a few reasons. One of the reasons being I have a family, and I don't want my last moments on this earth. Mind you, I know the causes are important sometimes. I know that you should be willing to die for what you believe in a lot of times, but for the last moment of my life being, I caught a stray bullet because I was at a picket fence or a picketing, protest regarding Israel and Gaza, or regarding, Russia and Ukraine, or regarding, more specifically at this moment in time, ICE in, the U.S. and furthermore, the deployment of troops perhaps in Minnesota and things like that. It'd be really dumb if I was lying there. This is what I would think. It'd be really dumb to die this way. Bleeding out from a bullet because somebody decided to get rowdy against the other side, and then bullets started flying. And then you're there like a jackass. I shouldn't make light of it, but, you get shot there, and then it's over for you. And sure, you could say, let's think most positively here. You could say, well, maybe I'll be a martyr for the cause. Maybe my death will inspire millions to stand up. Green's off. He's off from work. Or no, he's work from home today. Another snowstorm. Stay safe out there, man. Hey, we got a couple flakes of snow too, so we're in the same boat. I want to stay on this, okay? Feel free to chat, but I shouldn't get distracted on this. What I'm saying regarding this issue is I think people sometimes underestimate the power that our military or defense forces actually has. And if forces are getting deployed to your area, then I would strongly advise, you should stay inside. You really should stay inside. And I would even say that when there are things like ICE roaming about, which people might say is the Gestapo of Trump's forces, if they're out and about, I would again advise that you do not engage with them in any show of force, whether that be a bunch of you guys tag up to peacefully protest and yell at these ICE agents who are not well trained and have guns, and not only have guns, but they have legal authority a lot of times to feel justified in their acts. If you guys get a little rowdy and you end up dead, a lot of times the government's probably going to take their back on it because it's less of a headache to just say he was in the line of duty. If there's National Guard mobilizing in your area, maybe stay inside. And I say all this to say that overall, I think it's evident that for the past ever, at least as long as I've been alive, there has been corruption in our local, state, and federal governments. And there's not just corruption in the U.S. There's corruption all over this world, right? Some of it's more blatant than others. A lot of it's hidden. A lot of it's hush-hush. A lot of it's behind closed doors. A lot of it's in files that get redacted. But we know enough as people, or we should know enough to know that corruption runs pretty wild in our governments. And if we, the people of the United States, were to ever change the corruption and get rid of corruption completely, and to eliminate the current structure that is our government, it would take damn near everybody. And everybody would have to be armed, and everybody would have to storm, and everybody would have to be willing to do whatever it took to see it through to the end to completely change your government and perhaps start one that's not corrupt. But hey, I just want to give you a little spoiler. Even if we were to accomplish that, the next people that take rule are probably going to be corrupt. And if not, then maybe their kids. And if not their kids, maybe the next, right? So we're really just buying our, even if we completely overrun the government, which would take all of us, we might have a chance at like getting 1 or 2 generations without corruption in our government before it falls back into place. And now, if you think about that and think about how many ties America has to the rest of the world and how many people like want a piece of the control that's in this earth and how many people are allies because they know that we are the ones that are truly in control. Think of our enemies, that if we toppled our government, how easy it would be for them to just come in here and, get their place in the seat. So really, you're screwed. We're at 18 minutes in. Really, you're fucked, okay? Just need to make sure that our, if one day this video pops off, I want to make sure that it doesn't get demonetized. Because this is good stuff. I'm the only one saying this. Even if you succeeded in toppling the government, you'd have a whole other can of worms to deal with that you open by performing a violent insurrection. Okay? And there are countries all the time, there are countries that try to stage, internal coups or civil wars. And most of the time, they get their ass kicked, or it's a struggle, or it takes, decades long, and then the government clamps down even harder on their dictatorial or totalitarian ways, and generations are wiped out as they try to fight for this cause, yada, yada, yada. That's how hard it is for other countries, and those governments barely have a defense budget. If you guys, and by you I mean if we all wanted to do it right and we all went against the government armed to stage some kind of, insurrection, the government has so much more. I mean, the government and defense and their budgets and how big of a machine that they've created is so massive and so unbelievably threatening to all ways of life that if they pointed it at you, you would not survive. And that's where I say it would take everyone, because they really do have what it takes to take most people out. Most people that are not them out, right? I've worked in multiple jobs, but I've also played Call of Duty. I know a lot of the capabilities that, the United States has. And as somebody, like I said before, who's worked in, full motion video programs, just the idea alone that there can be an eye in the sky on you and you might not ever know it, because that's how those things work, right? Like when Obama was in office and he had that drone program, and that everybody still talks about in some form or fashion today, of whether it exists, whether there is something like that. If we had it once, I don't understand why we wouldn't have, we wouldn't keep those pieces of technology, right? So let's just use common sense on that to say, okay, maybe the US still has that capability. If they turn that stuff on their own people, you've just never seen it before. A lot of these people that are out here protesting and saying like down with the government and stuff and are getting violent, they've never lived in a world like some of the other unfortunate souls, usually in the East, right, have had to experience with living in a world where in your airspace, in the airspace that you call, the sky to your home, people don't have to deal with being watched, being surveilled, and being eliminated due to more incredible surveillance than you can ever imagine in your entire life. Like, you seem to underestimate the opponent that you're going against in a real sense. And I think it's funny how people are willing to call this government, and once again, I'm not trying to get on one political side or the other, but I think it's funny how people call this government fascist, how people are like, yes, they're, Nazis are running this government. Nazis are in the White House. There's a Nazi president. People are perfectly willing to say that, but then they're also willing to go out there and film themselves saying the most vitriolic statements towards people that sit in office. There's people that film themselves and their friends or their compatriots straight up assaulting ICE officers or straight up assaulting police officers, straight up assaulting whatever, insert whatever, local, state, or federal defense force that you can think of. If you really thought that the government was as bad as you thought they were, then you should know that everything that you're doing, could, I'm not saying is, right? I'm not a conspiracy theorist. Everything that you're doing could be used against you in a trial if they wanted, and it could be a trial behind closed doors. It doesn't even, if they really wanted to fight back and they really wanted to use, or extort Americans with the power that they had, they would be judge, jury, and executioner, but you still somehow exist in a world where, we have our freedom of speech, we have our our right to bear arms. All right, this is topic 1 still, but let's do 1.5. So I was originally talking about how the guy got shot with a non-lethal round and is blinded, but then you go and I see this morning and there's a guy that's like, I don't know, he looks like me. He's a bearded white dude that is, I guess, standing at the front of his cul-de-sac holding an AR-15 that's like souped up. It's got attachments and fucking a grip and whatever. He's got it shoulder strapped, hanging at the low ready. And it says that this guy is doing this and like he's getting internet good boy points. He's probably getting internet bad boy points too, right, from the other side or whatever. But the whole idea of it is like, this guy is out here making sure that ICE doesn't come into people's private homes and steal them in the middle of the night. So I guess what he's saying is, I am going to shoot you if you are part of ICE and you come to this neighborhood and start knocking on doors. That's what I would get out of that message. Now, maybe you could say, no, it's still a peaceful protest. He's exhibiting his right to bear arms. It's an open carry. It's fine that it is. And, if his neighbors don't have a problem with it, which I would have a problem with it, to be honest with you. I would have a problem with it as a neighbor. I gotta be 100% straight up with you. But, I've got kids, and when I'm out with my kids walking my dogs, and at the front of my cul-de-sac, there's a guy holding a fucking AR-15 at the Loretti, and my son asks him, "What are you doing?" And he says, "Oh, I'm defending this place." Then my kid's whole idea of reality will break him in 2 seconds. He'll be like, well, aren't cops supposed to be that? And then the guy would, turn around and he'd be like, oh, kid, you have so much to learn. That guy, I mean, good on him. Again, but now that picture is going to be saved. And if the government ever wants to start like, let's compile a list of people that were either violent or they showed violent tendencies to an organization created by the government in order to make America better, we'll just call these guys terrorists. We'll just mark them all as terrorists because, I mean, this is essentially people threatening to shoot law enforcement if law enforcement crosses a certain boundary, a physical, geographical boundary. I'm going to shoot them. Again, if you go out and do that, you need to understand that, like, there's not enough of you. There's not enough of you to accomplish what you think you're going to accomplish. It's a numbers game. And there is not enough people. And once again, I am not advocating for there to be more. If anything, I'm advocating, okay, I'm getting ahead of myself, but this is what I'm advocating for, okay? And it's very simple. I'm advocating that we're cooked. Okay, it's already like the idea that we're going to win some back, we're going to win some ground back from the government. We're going to win some ground back from the deep state. We're going to win some ground back from the Illuminati. Whatever side of the, pie that you fall on for mentally unwell, they already have enough. They have more than they ever have before. They have not been fighting a losing battle for the past 50 years or so. I think if anything, if you were one of those people that believed any of those things actually exist, they're more powerful now than they ever have been. They have more resources than they ever have. Let's say you're somebody that believes that it's a Nazi fascist government. Again, they have more than they could ever even have dreamed of having. So the ship has sailed in your ideas of we could fight this. We could be the change. I think it's over, man. I think it's over. I think that the ship isn't already sailing. The ship is already sinking, and we are on the ship. And there are no lifeboats left. There is no saving, being the big heroes, changing the world as we know it by protesting. It's just not going to happen. Maybe we could find a new place. All of the people in America, and I'll throw myself into that hat. Maybe we can find a new place one day that we wouldn't have to kill any indigenous people that live there. It's just a great swath of land that appears out of nowhere. Maybe we can all go there and all be virtuous and all be full of morals and all do the right thing on that place. And if something happens where we start to lose, control in that place to people that are evil, they haven't been evil there for that long. There hasn't been enough of an establishment to be evil in that place. Maybe we could fight them, and maybe we could overcome tyranny in our new little country, our new little peaceful place, that we all had the same ideas going in. But unfortunately, that's unrealistic in this place that we live. First of all, for you guys that are still gung-ho about having a bipartisan system, it's rigged against you because now already half of the country thinks you're an asshole. Like, it's already pinned against people to even form some kind of force good enough. I don't even know what I'm saying in that, because that wouldn't be good, right? You overthrowing your government wouldn't be good. It would be stupid. You guys are already fighting against each other. F the states, go Canada and Greenland. There's Green's opinion, and I don't blame him for having it. There's just a lot of problems in this country, and I think, and I know how annoying it is to hear something like this. And I don't use this sparingly, but I think there is something to the whole, like, if you don't like it, you can leave. I know that there's problems. Believe me, I know that there's problems. And I know that generally speaking, we're cooked. That's just the way the cookie crumbles. But I'm trying to enjoy the last few years that I have. I'm trying to enjoy raising my kids before my kids become adults, and it's even more impossible to ever own a home or go to school without having crippling debt the rest of your life, or whatever you want to say. If we focused more on just making it a better ride, then in many ways I think there could be a situation in which maybe the deep state doesn't run the country. Maybe the fascists aren't the leaders of the country, and maybe we still do have democracy. Let's say that, let's say we have something like that. Imagine if we, did have less guns around the country, just like Green said, right? Get rid of the guns. Listen, I own a gun, and I own a gun because I want to pretend like if a violent person were to break into my home, I'm going to have the testosterone levels, the appropriate level of fear for my family and fear for myself, to arm myself and defend my home. In reality, I think if a robber broke in, I would do what they always tell you to do and tell them, yes, you can take what you want, sir. Please leave. My kids are sleeping, right? But I don't arm myself so that I can, bear arms against my government should they overstep their bounds on me, because I think that's a little pointless. And to you out there that have armories in your home, Again, I go back to section D of my point back there, where let's say it was game over and the government came after you and you wanted to use your armory. If the government's coming after you, they don't even have to send a person after you, man. They can kill you from a long way away, and not have to worry about it. So um, I think the idea that we have as many guns in this country as we do doesn't really help us as much as it is just another waste of a business purchase. What am I trying to say here? It's kind of just it's working off of consumerism. Um, it doesn't it doesn't harm a gun company to make more guns than what are necessary, because people can claim that they're collectors, or everybody can sleep well, the gun owners and the gun makers, thinking that they do nothing wrong, when in reality we obviously know that they're very dangerous, and people keep dying because of them inside of our own country. Wow, what a good segue. Inside of our own country. Okay. So let's stick a pin in topic number one, which is stay inside, please. Please stay inside. I don't want you to die. I guarantee that your mother, your father, your friends, your sister, your brother, your cousin, somebody out there, the guy that you play Arc Raiders with sometimes that hops on, whatever it might be, that person does not want you to die. Um, and if you die in an ice raid, that person isn't going to remember you for standing up in the ice raid. They're going to remember you for being the person that they didn't want dying in the first place. Nobody cares about shit anymore. It's just like the few that do and the few that are out there fighting the good fight. Like, it's great that you're doing that, but you're playing to an audience of so little these days. You're playing to an audience of people that are also going to get themselves killed for almost no reason, because the majority of people will look at your death and maybe care about it for a second or two, but then next week they're on to something else. And maybe you get lucky and you live in some kind of um, well-liked fame that did good for the world around them. But the unfortunate truth of the matter is there's not going to be a lot of people talking about the guy that got shot in the eye from an ICE agent who was protesting a woman getting shot in the face and killed by an ICE agent, right? That guy that is blind in one eye, nobody is going to give a shit. And they probably won't even know your name because Renee Good died, a week before, and you were out there protesting, got violent, and got shot in the eye with a non-lethal round. Like, I'm not saying that you're an asshole who deserves it. I'm saying that, you did that. You were in a situation. You woke up that morning and said that you were going to do this specific thing, go to this specific place, protest this specific thing, got violent, and then got shot over it. I think that's, it's a bad take, man, is what I'm trying to say. Like, stay inside, play video games, maybe watch some movie, get educated in reading more. And I don't just mean get educated by reading. I mean, like, read some good fiction books, enjoy the leisurely things that you can afford to do in life before nothing is affordable anymore. That's topic number one. Topic number two. Topic number two is there is a lot of news circulating the idea that the U.S. is going to somehow invade Iran, strike Iran, attack Iran, regarding, at least this is what the U.S., the executive branch is pushing out. We would do that because these protesters are getting murdered in Iran. So many protesters are dying in Iran. It's our job to make sure that this evil leadership that's in charge of this country pays for their crimes. Okay. It's kind of interesting, though, that it sounds more like, regarding Iran, it would be a full-on invasion. Very similar to what we've done to, Iran's neighbors. over the years. So, um, here's something funny. When I was in the military, I did human intelligence, and human intelligence in the army, at least when I was in, required you knew a foreign language. I only knew English, and I tested well on their language aptitude test when I was signing up for the army. That I was lucky enough to pick between two languages. I could have learned Spanish, or I could have learned Persian Farsi. Persian being, the language of Iran. I grew up in Florida, and I told myself, Spanish. I'm gonna learn it one day. I know I am. It's one of the easier languages to learn if you're into foreign languages. I think I can do that by like going on Duolingo, and like there's enough stuff out there that's Spanish content that I can kind of pick it up. I grew up in Florida. I got some Spanish down. Um, Persian Farsi. Let's do the Persian Farsi. Plus, the school was longer. I think Spanish was like 36 weeks at the language school. Mine was at least 48 weeks if I did Persian Farsi, the one that I chose. And I ended up being there for over a year in Monterey, California. My God, what a beautiful place. But something that's really cool about the language school there is usually the languages that they're teaching are taught by native speakers of that language. So in some cases, we got teachers that were from Iran. And these teachers, being from Iran, better than anybody else. I got to be honest, better than almost anybody else that you're listening to these days about what's going on in Iran. Whether you're watching, CNN, Fox, ABC, CBS, whatever you're watching, these people that were my teachers for over a year and got really close to us students and would share personal anecdotes and stories from what it was like to be in Iran. They would have told you back when I was in, which is, I guess, further back than what's going on right now. They would have told you how fucked up it is in their country. They would have told you how crazy it is to have police breaking into your house because somebody told them that you had, cable TV that wasn't being censored. They would have told you how much people in Iran really just want to be like Americans, like how they're into the idea of the West, how these Marg Bar Amrika, right, the Death to America chants that are usually televised, in a lot of ways aren't even, that's not what's actually going on in the country. Maybe the news streams that are coming out of Iran will take a very small select group of people and make it look like half of the country is out there saying death to America. No, they would have told you back then that most Iranians are really upset with their current leadership and they're scared because this dictator completely rules over your life. And a lot of people aren't as, the people that live in Iran and are Shia Muslims are much like the people that live in the US and are Shia Muslims and the people that live in Europe and are Shia Muslims. These people are a lot like how I like to consider, what the portrayed, like Jewish protagonist is in films and TVs in, over the past 50 years of film and TV. It's somebody that's like, that's their heritage and it's what they stand for and that's their history. But as far as like, I gotta stick to this line by letter. I gotta follow all of the commandments. They're a little bit more. I'm not gonna say on the sacrilegious side, but I will say they're more, secular in their lifestyle. Their entire life doesn't have to be their religion, but it is their heritage. So maybe they are a lot more prideful about that than others. I think about that with like Roman Catholics too, and a lot of the way that they're portrayed. They're people that have their faith and they have, what they were raised in. They have their tradition, their culture, their values, but they're people at the end of the day. They go through the same exact things. They have the same exact thoughts. They wanted to, grow up and, drive a cool car and have a family and get, a house with a yard in it. Like, everybody feels that way that grows up in a semi-civilized society. That's just the way that it is, and especially when you have access to like TV. Like if you're living in Iran and you hear the rest of the world and what they're up to, you want to be part of that because they were being accepted into the fold. When was that? When was that? Was that back in the '60s, the '70s, right? If you guys remember, if you were around in that time or you know your history, you know about the Iranian Revolution that happened. And the Iranian Revolution occurred after a coup was enacted on the leader of Iran, right? Shah Pahlavi. He was a really cool dude. He was very like a Western man. I mean, this was the Iran when they were looking exactly like you could have put a picture of Tehran next to a picture of like Beverly Hills, California, and you probably couldn't tell the difference, right? Um, this was the Iran of like Hollywood, essentially. They looked awesome. Everybody had fancy hair. The guys were all rocking, the gel in their hair, wearing their nice suits, driving their sweet cars. I mean, it was Americana back then, and I say Americana that was kick ass no matter what you think. Like that style, that vibe of America. That I wish that's what America could have stayed at least in the vibe, right, for forever, because it felt like there was something. It felt like there was promise and hope, and that life could be like a movie instead of what it is now, and everybody is just mentally deranged. Okay, but around that time, Shah Pahlavi got removed in a coup. That newsflash, that was us. Helped support, helped carry out. So a coup led by the U.S. And you know what's really funny? You know what's really funny, especially after this whole Venezuela uh, issue that we have going on? The really funny thing is that it could be attributed a lot to the Shah's refusal to just give up oil to the U.S. For basically a shakedown. And that's amongst other things too, right? He just wasn't willing to bend the knee as much as we wanted him to at that time. And you could say what you want about the whole situation that did happen. You could say that there's way more to the story, and America acted out of the interest not just for themselves, but the civilized Western world at the time. Um, and who knows? Maybe you're right. But what I do think is interesting is that you can't deny that there was um, there was oil involved, as there usually has been for us in these types of areas, or at least that's how it's been for the past 50 years. And you know, I don't know whether to say that, time heals all wounds, or maybe we might have forgotten America. There's so many things going on, it's hard to pay attention all the time to the fact that we totally caused Iran to fall apart, much like how Europe and the Western world is why, you know, uh, the Ottoman Empire fell and devolved into what it was, and how many of the extremists in those types of areas after the Ottoman Empire broke up still reference that as like the reason why, they started hating the West as much as they did, right? We continued to play our conquesting, you know, uh, cowboy games in these countries in that time, and us removing the Shah lined up pretty well with an impending Iranian revolution. And trust me, boys and girls, it's not like we didn't know what was happening in the country, right? We're pretty smart when it comes to global affairs. So this idea that like it was unforeseen that all of a sudden now you have Ayatollah Khamenei in charge of a country, and they used to have like a Shah, basically a king, but a dude that was like totally open to being essentially like, part of Europe. Um, they devolved into absolute religious theocracy chaos. all of a sudden, the ladies that were dressed like the Hollywood girls in America were told you need to put, a covering over your hair or your hair, excuse me, um, or else you're going to get beaten in the streets by police. That's our fault. That's our fault. No matter how you slice it, that's our bad. Okay, and you know what we did? You know what we did to make up for it over the past 50 years? Well, let's see. We always are telling them and the rest of the world that they have nuclear power and nuclear weapons that are forming. Whether or not there was any evidence of that, or whether we could ever show you, that might be a different story. But we're always accusing them of something. We're always accusing them of their ties with Hezbollah. So we're constantly attributing that country to working with terrorists. And I'm not saying that Iran doesn't or didn't at the time, because I'm sure they probably did, but it's kind of fucked that you are partially, if not fully, to blame for why they're working with Hezbollah, and you like to come out here and be like, Iran's a bad country. We've been doing it for forever. And I think that in many ways, with the Iraqi war and the Iranian or the Iran-Iraq war, where we basically just fucked over both countries, really, but we turned our backs on Iran, and that could be seen as quite the shitty thing to do, because they got really fucked. The both sides got fucked, and then what did we do? We invaded Iraq, and we did so on account of them having weapons of mass destruction, despite us not being able to prove it. And then we killed their leader. it's a lot of issues that we seem to have been involved in those countries. And now all of a sudden, when they've been killing protesters for a long time and imprisoning protesters for a long time, Iranian, leadership for a long time has been maniacal, actual, fascism, actual dictatorship going on, a theocracy, a supreme leader, right? Where do you know that one from if you're not familiar with Iran? That's a total like Kim Jong-un kind of deal they've got going on there, except instead of being God like Kim Jong-un claims, this guy is the one link between them as a country and Allah, right? So, again, it's not like Iran doesn't need a regime change. If you are living in the Western world, I think you should agree with that. But I just think it's odd that the regime needs to be changed, much like you can make the argument that Maduro needed to be removed from office in Venezuela. But we didn't want, or we didn't have to kill, endanger the lives, whatever we're looking like we could be doing to citizens that live in Iran in order to accomplish this regime change, because we already accomplished a regime change once in that country, and I think we owe them a solid to like make up for it by doing a regime change in a similar way. If you are somebody that knows little about what's going on in Iran, and you are against any kind of intervention in Iran by America, even one of those cool raids like they did to Maduro, then I would say maybe you should learn more about Iran and how their government's structured and how they are committing crimes against humanity every day as a governing body. I would say look into that, and tell me if that changes your opinion about how you feel about the idea of having some kind of regime change there. But if you're somebody that is totally for America going in and starting a war in Iran, sending troops on the ground there, not just going for a regime change, but a total, takeover, a total restructuring of the government, I would say that I would say that we have done enough. We've done enough in that region, and I think that Iranians, along with people that have common sense, would all say that they would prefer we not intervene at all, uh, rather than having a full scale war that would, just result in more bloodshed overall. Because you might not know it, but most Muslims are peaceful people. So most people are peaceful people too. I don't know if people understand that, but we all crave peace, and there are many instigators amongst us. But I would say for the most part, most people are peaceful. So let's try not having more war in 2026, shall we? Wow, that was what, 53 minutes of crying? I just, my heart breaks for people, man. My heart breaks for the idea that people can't simply have peace in life, that things eat away at them constantly, that they feel like they are in somehow responsible to save the entire world. I just, let's say this as well. Um, as much as I am sympathetic with the plight of what it feels like for men and women living in Iran as citizens under a tyrannical government, an actual tyrannical government. I'm not saying our government isn't tyrannical, but I think there's some hyperbole there on both sides. Um, it could get a lot worse. Believe me, we don't have it too bad yet. We will probably eventually, maybe in our lifetimes, but we can't stop that either. So enjoy the ride. I'm just trying to say, I get it's hard for them, and I wish there was a way that the government here would have a more peaceful, or a less casualty causing way of dealing with the Iran issue. But I do think that um, there's a lot of problems at home too, and I feel as though a lot of people, including myself, probably would say that we would rather the government focus a little bit more on what's going on inside of our borders. Um, and I don't just mean because this conversation started talking about ICE. I'm talking about kids that are forever in debt because they took out student loans, and people not being able to afford education or healthcare or any of those kind of things in these countries or in this country. Like, I think a lot of people would say, like, let's not invade Iran or get involved in any more stuff with Venezuela, and let's not take military action against NATO and go into Greenland, and let's not start World War III. Um, we would much rather you focus on any of the social issues that are currently impacting our country, that are resulting in the deaths of our own people, young and old. Um, I think we should start there. So, yes, I think that was the entirety of. Wow. Green. Green, you don't even live here, bro. What do you know? Green, you can't talk about my man Trump like that. Um, Green says, I got issues, but you got them too. I got ice in my veins. I'll kill ya. Any mean cop. I was with you at the beginning. Ice in my veins, blood in my eyes. Lil Wayne, right? I'll kill any mean cop. That's crazy. Trump needs to choke and die, particularly on a. And then you said a word that I'm so surprised they didn't mute. but I will not repeat that on stream after everything that I've said because that is not what I would say. I wouldn't say that um, about Trump. I would say that Trump, like many people in this country, needs a friend that's honest with him. He needs a he needs um, he needs somebody to show him that you don't have to manipulate in order to be loved. Maybe he needs a therapist. Those are the things that I think that he needs, and a good therapist too. Maybe he could use some, some dosing of THC. He needs to be in prison. He is a felon. He is a felon. So maybe he needs to do time, time for his crimes, and while doing time for his crimes, on a dimes. It just felt like it needed to be rhymed with something. Maybe while he is in prison, he can be getting all of the things that I said that I think that he needs. I I don't want to think about that right now, Green. That wasn't on my radar for something that I wanted to actually imagine at, at this particular time. You're allowed to have strong feelings. That's the great thing about America. And I think that's why this country is still pretty great. All things considered, and it might just be a for now thing, but I do think it's pretty cool that we are able to say those things and not be killed secretly. But can you have feelings? You can if you're white. I think now's a perfect time. Now's a perfect time to start playing Danganronpa. Listen, lots of feelings shared this morning. Lots of feelings. Lots of from the heart stuff. I just felt like it was a good conversation to have on MLK Jr. Day. At the very least, I hope everyone knows that everyone deserves love, and everyone was once a child. Everyone was once a child who didn't know anything, and somewhere along the line, their mind got poisoned. Maybe it was poisoned before they could even do anything about it, and they became the people that they are. And yes, sometimes it's very hard to deal with people that you despise. But when you look inside yourself and you say, what if I don't hate the person? What if I hate, their sin from a Christian perspective? What if I don't hate the person? I hate their trauma that was, enacted upon them for them to be this way. It's hard to deal with you sometimes. I'm serious, man. I know we can, be in the moment. I can be playing in a CS lobby with somebody and be like, I fucking hate this guy so much. But I think when we... I am too, that wasn't joking. I know. Stop it. Stop it. I'm just trying to say that if we think about it, maybe after the match, we think about the fact that that guy with a hentai animation profile picture with AK-47 skin in the game that has the N-word built with stickers on the gun, we can look at a guy like that and we can say, hopefully, that guy or gal was once a child. They were once innocent. Green's just mad about Counter-Strike still. Lay off, Green. Alright, sometimes you pop off. That's actually what my screen's on right now. Sometimes you pop off, okay? That's cool. Right? I'll show the stats for everybody at home. Here's Green with 43 and 15 as his KD. We've got a teammate of his that went 7 and 22. We did not have an enemy team member go 7 and 22, so that's not great. Going 12 and 20 is almost as bad as going 12 and 19. So the top fragger on the enemy team looks like they had a 20 and 18 KD, and the second top fragger had a 24 and 18. So maybe more damage done by the top guy than the second guy down, but both pretty considerably good. And then you had Green with 43 and 15, and then the next guy down going 13 and 17. So big surprise here. We had 11 on Green's team and 13 as the final score on enemy team, which ended up winning. It must have been a long game that felt like it was gonna. It was owed. I think Green feels like the victory was owed to him with the work that he was putting in. But the unfortunate side of life is in a team sport. If you're doing that well, there's a good chance the rest of your team is not. And in a team game, unfortunately, if you get a 25k kill streak in Counter-Strike, you can't automatically end the game like you could in Call of Duty. So this, very sad, but a very good dose of reality. And then I said to him, maybe try playing the objective next time. Duh. He didn't say anything. He didn't say anything in response to that. It's kind of rude. All right. We'll just do this. Okay, ready? Hello, everybody. This is still on stream, but I am doing the playthrough of Danganronpa, and this is part 2. I'm going to start the game, and it's going to look as if I was able to get right back to where we were when last video ended, because I played it all back to where I needed to this morning. I didn't read it, the way that I would have read it to you guys, again to myself, because honestly, I know this is going to be a workout for my voice. So without further ado, Green, can you hit the lights? Just kidding. Let's see if we still have volume in the game. I don't hear anything. Could be bad. Let's see if we can do something. Do I hear that? I hear that. It's a miracle. He can read. It's kind of rude. What did I ever do to that guy? What did I ever do to that guy? All right, I can hear that. So what's going on here? What's going on here? Did I ruin it? Did I ruin the audio in this game? It's a chance. There's a chance I might have ruined the audio. But how can I return it? Get into sound settings. Here we go. Let's think about this. Let's think about this. What am I thinking about this? I think I remember what I'm trying to do. App volume mix. Steam. What have I done? What have I done? Okay. I can hear that. If they're telling me that I have to go and restart the game and get all the way back here just so I can have my damn volume back, we're going to have a problem. That is what they're saying. You know what? That's okay. We'll make this, until we can save, we're going to make this feel somewhat as good by just throwing on some shitty Spotify music over it. All right? That works for me. I don't know. I don't know if the music is being heard. I actually don't hear music either. Oh. Okay. Alright. So until we can get to a save point, when we get to a save point, we should be able to save, close, we get volume back. Until then, we'll just pretend like this royalty-free Spotify music is the audio in Danganronpa. So we last talked to Mondo Owada. My voice is already cracking. Let's go ahead. My dog's having a dream over here. You guys hear that? She's really going for it. Poor Tina. Alright. We've only talked to Mondo. He has that nice southern twang. I think we can turn that down a little bit. Alright. Let's just go. We'll go right to left. Alright. Start with Junko. There are more girls in this game than I can do separate voices for. It's just unfair to try to give all of the girls different personalities, especially when these two girls kind of look exactly the same. So I'm going to go ahead and just read all of the girls, unless they really stand out, like Goth Mommy and Tuco. Was it Tuco? No, that's from Breaking Bad. Toko, maybe? I don't know. The girl that writes, and then the singer girl, right? She's just like a high-pitched one. But everyone else, I think we just go in and do it like a girl. So we'll start talking to Junko. Alright, she looks creepy as hell. Hi, I'm Junko Inoshima. Charmed, I'm sure. Ultimate fashionista. I forgot about her. Okay, we do have a voice for most of the guys, I think, so far. So here we go. Anybody would recognize this one. She's got more charm and presence than any high school girl in the country. She's the ultimate fashionista. I've seen her on tons of magazine covers, but... Remember magazines? Does anybody still get magazines? I don't even know if anybody even reads magazines anymore. Like, they used to do, like, digital versions. I remember with Game Informer, maybe, at GameStop. They would start offering you, like, the digital one. And then you say, yeah, that sounds cool. And I just never opened it. Leave a comment if you read a magazine. Anyway. I feel like that doesn't quite match up to reality. Huh? Oh, are you talking about my cover photos and junk? Well, of course. Those are totally photoshopped. Photoshopped? Yeah, you know, edited to hell and back with, like, computers and junk. This girl's so cool. So relatable. Oh, so they aren't real. Damn, Makoto is calling her ugly, dude. Come on. Don't act so surprised. You're gonna make me all depressed. Makoto's like, wow, that's you? You're ugly as hell, dude. What happened? Ew, you're the ultimate fashionista? I feel like the people that edited you should be here, not you. Alright, that's rude. Obviously, she's pretty. At least this is how she's being portrayed. Right? Anime, I guess, could make anybody look pretty. It's totally normal these days to Photoshop the crap out of cover photos. If you're surprised by that, you'd be totally blown away by a certain dangerous little diva of ours. Whoa. They make the eyes and junk super big and tweak the skin so it looks all ceramic and porcelain. Ow. Ow. So many dreams are getting crushed today. Wait, I said that with the wrong intonation. Director? Action. So many dreams are getting crushed today. Better. And scene. Let's call it a wrap, boys. Kyoko. Kyoko Kirigiri. Hey, yo, I'm Kyoko Kirigiri. We have to. We have to. We have to give it to Kyoko. We have to do that voice for her. Hey, yo, I'm Kyoko Kirigiri. She's almost a little like Brooklyn baseball player, but not quite. Let's see if we can keep that range for the whole playthrough. Oh, they're both being awkward. 3 ellipses last time meant something bad. Can I ask you your name? My name is Shake Suma, the mic ruler, the old schooler. You want a drink? I'll bring it to you. My name is Kyoko Kirigiri. Perfect voice for her. Ultimate question mark. She's thinking of her next freestyle. She's pretty tight-lipped, huh? Palms are sweaty, knees weak, arms are... Oh, it's like that meme where Makoto's like, she's probably thinking about that other guy, and she's just going through every single word in a dictionary in her head, thinking of what to say next. On the mic. Oh, but, you know, her name didn't show up anywhere in that Hope's Peak Academy thread. I think I said that last line weird. And I did see that there were students like me. Ones who didn't have any real identity or presence. Could this girl be one of them? She's the ultimate lucky girl to be talking to me. So what are you doing at this school? Kyoko Kiriki. I have to say her name to get into the headspace of what I need to sound like. Kyoko Kirigiri. What's that supposed to mean? No, I just meant getting invited here means you're some kind of ultimate something, right? So what ultimate something are you? Yeah. What should I tell you? Huh? Well, I guess you don't have to tell me. Yeah, Makoto, why don't you start telling people what you are? You're not saying anything to these people. You're not saying anything about you being the ultimate lucky guy. No, I don't have to tell you, so I'm not going to. A little sass. Nothing about her turned up online, so I was thinking maybe she got picked by chance like me, but... This girl does a lot of the whole, you know... I feel like Elena was doing that to me a lot yesterday. She was cooking for like, I don't know, 6 hours. And I was like, I was her kitchen help, right? Dishes need washing, wash the dishes. Things need stirring, stir the things. Bada ba bing, bada ba boom, you know, helping with measurements. Doing what I can. Doing what I can to be there for Elena while she cooks. You know what I mean? What the fuck did that have to do with anything that I was just talking about? Oh, yeah. Damn it, bro. That's been happening lately. Anyway, I'm there helping her out, and we're jamming. I've got the speaker playing Aurora, my queen, you know, going through This Is Aurora playlist on Spotify. My fairy Norwegian muse, she was going off. But every now and then, you know, I would say something to my wife, we'd get in a little topic, and then I would say something like a punchline, or I would say something that I figured that she would respond to. And she would look at me and like maybe smile or something or nod or whatever, but then she would just go back to cooking, and I'm like, wow, this lady does not care if I live or die. Just kidding. Maybe it wasn't that dramatic, but it was like, wow, she is not paying attention as much as I thought she would. Maybe I should just drop it entirely. So I would. Go back to doing whatever I was doing, and then something would happen later. A little conversation happens, and then brick wall. I was like, damn, you're really Kyoko Kirigiri right now, you know what I mean? Her face is like an iron mask. If she doesn't want to tell me anything, no point in asking. All right, Chihiru Fujisaki. I made some comments about this particular student. Don't remember what they were. Leave a comment below if you remember. Hello. Nice to meet you. I'm Chihiro Fujisaki. That's the best we're gonna do with that, and you're gonna like it, okay? Ultimate programmer. No way. Good for you. Sorry, I get kind of embarrassed whenever I introduce myself like this. That blush goes hard. That's not even a product. This kid was meant to be a little doll, you know what I'm saying? This kid was meant to be one of those little doll boys. If he can blush like that, go on. Keep going. Anyway, I hope we can get along. Same here. Nice to meet you. Makoto sounds so ugly compared to this guy. Huh? Maybe it's just my imagination, but have we met before? If I had to make these faces and read the lines, I might get in trouble. I don't think so. We just met for the first time, which is why I said, nice to meet you. Wow, what a little asshole, dude. Makoto. Damn, dude. You first wake up wanting to say something real bad, and now you're just being a dick. Oh, yeah. Good point. Sorry. They're crying. Makoto, you're an asshole. You don't have to apologize for that. Oh, yeah? Chihiro Fujisaki is known for all that cutting-edge programs. Oh, wait, hang on. Let's be completely serious when we read this sentence. This is important. Chihiro Fujisaki is known for all the cutting-edge programs she's created. She's the ultimate programmer. You got that? Good. She's also got that timid little bunny type thing going. Makoto, you're a freak, bro. Which has endeared her to her legion of fans. Oh, she's got a fan club, dude. Good for her. Hey, so listen. You might have... Have you ever considered that you might have a mental disorder that's causing your emotions to be particularly out of whack, which could be due to a hormonal imbalance, Chihiro? Just a question. Hey, so listen. I'm really sorry. Huh? What are you apologizing for now? Well, just because you seem upset. You must be mad at me, right? Okay, is this an anime thing? Should I be treating this like an anime thing where, like, they're just reacting in the most hyped up ways possible? Or am I supposed to believe that Chihiro is actually crying whenever they talk to me? Because that could be a problem. We might run into some issues. I'm not really good with dealing with these kind of things. If I'm talking to you and I say something like a joke, as you know, I might joke a little bit. Maybe it gets a little rough. I had some thickening of my skin going on when I was a teenager, and so maybe I put it on reverse now, and I do it to other people. I understand. If they cried every time I talked to them, though, I wouldn't want to be talking to them anymore. I would feel like a horrible person. But for the sake of entertainment, we'll go ahead and treat this as if Chihiro is crying whenever we read these lines. No, not at all. I was just lost in thought about something. Huh? Lost in thought? We found the sad one. Okay, this voice is actually fun. Yeah, it had nothing to do with me being upset or anything. Oh, that's good. I was afraid maybe you didn't like me. I think we've settled. We've settled in what we have to do to voice her. I'm glad. I'm mentally stable. I'm starting to understand why her fans are so into her. Makoto, you a freak. You a freak, sonny. Makoto really is a goblin, dude. He's a goblin. One moment. You know who's also a goblin, dude? My kids. My kids are off of school today. They were off of school today. They knew that they were off of school today. Okay? Don't let them gaslight you any differently. I'll tell you. Look at that. There he is. My guys over here, great boys. Elena and I woke up at 4 in the morning because she goes to work today, right? We walk the dogs. We go to the gym. We get chest and shoulders in. We come back. She gets ready for work. She leaves for work. And now she's gone for work. You know, that's now we're like in the 7:30, 8 o'clock pocket. Like the kids would have already been, you know, getting ready to be taken to school. I'm doing dishes. I got laundry going. I'm folding laundry. 8:45 comes around. I have a big basket of clothes for them that I already folded that I wanted them to put away. And my ass is thinking, I gotta wake these lazy bones up. They can't sleep in this long. They've got school tomorrow, you know? I started getting closer to that door. I heard both of them playing games. One was playing on the computer, one was playing on the PlayStation. These fucking goblins, dude. They didn't even say anything. They didn't open their door. They didn't come out of the room. They didn't say goodbye to their mom when she went to work. They didn't do anything. They were just going to live in that room. If I never made contact with them, who knows? They would still be in there right now as if nothing existed besides them. And that, my friends, going back to our political discussion earlier, is where I think everybody should be at. Everybody go goblin mode. Everybody go goblin mode. That's our resolution for 2026. Goblin mode 2026. Let's go. All right, Makoto the Goblin. He understands why her fans are so into her. Very fun conversation. Now, Sydney Sweeney. I think we just did a standard girly voice for her. I didn't have to have the indicator there. I'll just put it right on the shin. I just know that it's covered over here, so whatever. Let's just click this last one. Oi, oi, oi. Fuck, and I can't even hear what they're saying, so I don't know how it's pronounced. We'll go with... Hang on. Let me check. Okay. How am I going to do this? AOE name pronunciation. AOE. AOE.
Imagine being able to build an app with your name on it.
Imagine.
Just by thinking about it.
Imagine, guys.
44.
Whoa.
We are looking at how
Oh, I thought that's what the pronunciation. We are. Hey, we are. Maybe her name should be We
to
are.
pronounce this Japanese name.
Fuck it. I don't care anymore. We're going to call her We are. We could do that. We could do anything. Guys, we could do anything. Hey, I'm We are. Hey, I'm We are. Asahina. But my friends just call me Hina. Damn it, we're not even going to say it anymore. We're not even going to be able to call her We are. I'm totally going to forget. Don't forget, Sam. Don't forget her name's We are. Hina. Hina. Sup? Ultimate Swimming Pro. Oh my gosh. That reminds me of a Instagram account out there. There's this awesome couple. It's a guy who's like, your average gamer. And then his girlfriend, and she's like, your average athlete. And they make such cute videos together. It flashes to him, and he's like, looks like a total gamer. And then it flashes to her, and she looks like a... She kind of looks like a total gamer, if I'm being honest. But no, she was a swimmer. She got injured, so now she's getting back on that horse. But for some reason, that just made me think of that. No reason. All right. Now I'm Makoto the Goblin. Asahina. This might be my favorite bit, and we're never gonna use it again. She's been breaking records in every competition she's been in since elementary school. She's even been chosen as an upcoming Olympic cadet. She is without a doubt the ultimate swimming pro. What do you want to say in the comments, guys? What do you want to say? What do you want to say? How are you going to say that her natural endowments help her swim better? Because I'll tell you what, I think most ladies would be very upset with you saying something like that. This is a very unrealistic representation of what a swimmer would look like, first of all. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't even say that. But second of all, you know, that she probably lives in pain every day of her life, and we need to respect her for that. Respect her. The combination of her ability, appearance, and proportions has been widely discussed online. Makoto, you goblin, dude. Makoto, he's... Okay, if you're a goon. But what's a goon to a goblin, brother? What's a goon to a goblin? What did I just say, Makoto? Bro, you're your average Redditor, dude. That is crazy. She's a child, by the way. She's a high schooler. And she's getting widely discussed online for her boobies. What kind of world do we live in? You know, that's where anime gets too far, dude. That's where these games really, you know, you gotta understand, that's just inappropriate. Japan. You guys go too far with it sometimes. I'm here for it, but, you know, think of the children. Asahina. So, what was your name again? Sorry, totally forgot. Makoto. Makoto Naegi. Oh, yeah. Okay, hang on. Wait a minute. Would you guys be really annoyed if that's how I voiced if I just did that for her? Like, what's the guy's name from South Park that holds the voice changer to his throat? He's coming right for us. That guy. What if that's her voice? Because we haven't done that yet, and we can totally rock that. All right. Oh yeah, I knew it was something like that. No, not something like that. It is that. Makoto, stop being a little bitch, man. You're talking to we are. Youth of the Nation, POD fans, where you at? Stand up. Sure, got it. Here, I'll hammer it into my brain right now. Makoto Naegi. She just She just kept repeating my name and moving her finger across her palm like she was writing something. What are you doing? You don't know? If you want to remember someone's name, you gotta write it on your hand 3 times. I've never heard of that before in my life. Hey, by the way, how do you spell your last name? You spell it exactly like it sounds. Makoto, why do you have to be such an ass? This guy's totally running that game where he's like, if I'm just a total dick to her, maybe there's a chance. Maybe. Shout out, Michaela. Well, I have no idea. I'll just figure it out later and write it down. Anyway, glad to meet ya. Sure, same here. Well, one thing I learned is she's totally easygoing and bursting with energy. Oh, shit. Those 4 over there are the only ones left. Okay, we do have Goth Mommy. We do have Scooby. We don't have voices yet for either of these 2, but honestly, the one in the middle looks like Donald Trump, so we're gonna try to use a Donald Trump for that one, and I think we go deep mode for the student underneath my camera. But we got all of them, so, and most of them have unique voices, so that's good. We've got a whole cast of characters here. We'll start with Goth Mommy. I do not think we have been introduced. I am Celestia Ludenberg. Berg, I don't know if the physical features match. Anyway, Ultimate Gambler! Yeah! Woo woo! Celestia Luden, huh? Ludenberg. It is my name, but if you don't mind, I would prefer for you to call me Celeste. You are Japanese, right? And he's racist, bro. This is crazy. Of course. Why would you ask? If you don't mind, could you tell me your real name? I don't know what you're talking about. Celestia Ludenberg is my real name. But as I mentioned, I would much rather you call me Celeste. She's polite, but pretty forceful at the same time. I don't think she wants to say any more about it. Why is he an asshole to some girls and the other girls he's just like, I respect your boundaries. He hates her because she's white. He hates her because she's fully white, dude. I guess the rumors are true in that thread where... Wait, I fucking butchered that line. Director? Scene 2? I guess the rumors in that thread were right about her. The self-styled Celestia Ludenberg, she's the ultimate gambler who's never lost a bet. What the fuck does that mean? That's the easiest one to... You can... Okay, if you guys are fighting, if you are the ultimate lucky student and she's the ultimate gambler, tell her to flip a coin 20 times in a row and they all have to be heads. And if she takes you up on the bet and she's wrong, kick her out of the high school. That is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Unless she has the... I mean, that's not ultimate gambler, then that's ultimate, like, God. Unless she doesn't take the bet. Then I guess maybe she's clairvoyant. Anyway, other than her obvious love of gothic Lolita clothes, everything about her is wrapped. What am I doing with my life? Everything about her is wrapped in a veil of lies. They say she entered and won an underground gambling tournament, earning the title of Queen of Liars. She totally cleaned out the other players, taking their life savings and laughing as she did it. Wow. What a bad person. I look forward to getting to know you better. She's got like the Assassin's Creed knife blade under her wrist or above her wrist there. It's kind of interesting. That smile is beyond deceptive. I'd better watch myself around her. Okay. Okay. All right. How we got Yasuhiro Hagakure. I'm Yasuhiro Hagakure. Hero for short. Take it easy, yeah? I know I will. Pretty good, yeah? Ultimate clairvoyant. Nice. Shirt's a little small for him, though. Yasuhiro Hagakure, known as Supernova. Supernova. He's known as Supernova. There's going to be a supernova. Anybody remember Al Gore talking about that? Just me? All right. In the psychic community, the trend-setting ultimate clairvoyant. Honestly, I don't really get all that fortune-telling stuff. It's pretty much beyond me. Still, I can't help wondering if there's any truth to it. Well, maybe you should ask him. Yeah, okay. I give up. Huh? What happened? I saw it. I looked right at it. Seriously, I totally saw it. Saw what? A guardian angel with a crazy perm chasing after Bigfoot running off with a skyfish in its mouth. Cue laugh track. Oh, Yasuhiro. Oh, you're such a funny guy. Oh my gosh, he's so zany. He's just asking what he saw, and he said a crazy thing, dude. And that guardian angel is your guardian angel. Nah, I'm just kidding. He's so cool. He's funny. Supernova. But hey, we should grab some brewskis sometime and get real deep into Lemuria and its civilizations. So he's just the ultimate stoner, alcoholic loser. That's awesome. We need to be more like him. What? We're not allowed to drink. We're in high school. Oh, I'm actually 21. You put him here with girls, bro. You shut the school down. There's a 21-year-old druggy alcoholic who wears the clothes of kids that he's probably kidnapped. You got him in this school with girls that look well developed. This is not good. Oh, I'm actually 21. I've been held back a few times, see, and, it's a long story. A few times? Yeah, I bet that is a long story. What's wrong with these guys? They're lame-ass jokes right now. All right, do we do Trump? I think we do. Let's try him. Byakuya Togami. Trump. Trump. That's not my Trump anyway. Name's Byakuya Togami. It's not a good start. Ultimate affluent progeny. Well, that is pretty Trumpy. Hi, nice to meet you. That's the most half-assed introduction I've ever heard. I'm telling you, Makoto's nice to some people, but there's other people, he's a complete goblin. But there really isn't anything I can do about it. Even among the ultimate students, this one is special. Byakuya Togami. He's the heir apparent of his family's massive financial conglomerate. He's already started managing business operations, and his own personal assets are, well, vast. With a small loan of $1 billion from my father. His title of affluent or ultimate affluent progeny is completely accurate. He's the definition of... What do you want to say, guys? In the comments below, what is Byakuya Trump the definition of? Not exceptional. Eki? White devil? Goat, perhaps? Moving on. That's everything I've learned about him from that Hope's Peak Academy thread online. We're done with introductions, right? How much longer are you going to stand there? Go away. I'm sick of looking at you. Little piggy. Run, little piggy. Run, Bobby. I'm sick of looking at you. His aura says to me, you and I will never stand on the same level. Like a king in training. He's going to be the one that saves us all. He's going to be the one to find out that this is all a conspiracy by the deep state. He's going to drain the swamp. I fucking knew it, bro. Sakura, they tried to make this. Maybe I should have actually guessed with the skirt. Why was it something like I was calling? She was wearing a skirt the whole time. Did anybody think it was actually going to be a guy? I mean, listen, look at those features. Maybe that's all I saw. That's a pretty manly featured human that I look at, and they've got the arms crossed against the chest. They've got huge lats. Looks like they have huge pecs. Obviously didn't see the skirt. Who am I to judge? But we got to do it because we already said what voice we're going to use. I am Sakura Ogami. Ultimate martial artist. Okay. Oh, jeez. I almost asked her if she was a guy. Okay, apparently Makoto didn't see the skirt, or he didn't see the figure as a whole and think that was the lady. But we've all been there, right? You know, we could have open mouth, insert foot. We've all had those moments. Am I right, fellas? Clearly, we dodged a bullet there. The day I say something like that out loud is the day I get turned into a human meatball. Insert laugh track. Makoto, stop fucking joking, dude. You're cooler. You're funnier and cooler when you're just being an asshole to people. But now I remember. She competed in a martial arts tournament in America and won, despite being a girl. Okay, that's you're putting it on a little too strong, Makoto. People are gonna start clipping this and being like, "What's wrong with that Sam Hamwiches guy?" She's the ultimate martial artist. She's fought in over 400 matches and never lost a single one. Impressive. That thread also said a bit more about her. Some call her ogre. Well, that's not very nice. Some even think she's the closest known relative to the primates. Now you're just... This is the Makoto. This is the Makoto we all want. This is the guy. The famed missing link to the primates. Any incoming Hope Peak students who are reading this, let me warn you right now. If you value your life, avoid her at all costs. All right. Standing in front of her now, I don't think they were exaggerating about that. Hey, you. Huh? Yes? I snapped to attention without even realizing it. Then she started to poke and prod at my body. What the heck? What are you? Muscular quality in quantity is right around that of an extremely ordinary high school student. What a shame. You're not at all fit to act as my training partner. She needed to fucking touch me to realize that I'm a toothpick, bro. I'm not sure that's such a shame for me. And with that, all the introductions are done. Even though they were all ultimate, they each have their own individual sort of, something. What do you think that something is, Makoto? Is it... Is it autism? Okay. Time to get down to business. Yes. Let's go, Trump. This is no time to stand around making friends like a bunch of dull-eyed baboons. Oh, that's true. I think someone said something about a bigger problem or something. What was that about? Well, you see... I think we were actually like, well, you see... Makoto, you said a bunch of stuff happened and then you were just asleep, right? Well, the same is true for all of us. What? Seriously? Just after each of us got to the main hall, we lost consciousness. And when we came to, we were somewhere here in the school. That's what happened to you, right? But that's just weird. That every one of us would get knocked out like that? Exactly. That's why we're all freaking out. And that's not the only thing. You saw where all the windows in this classes and hallway were, right? Oh, God. But instead of normal glass windows, it was a bunch of big metal plates. What's that about? Plus, all my stuff's missing. Even my cell phone. Yeah, you're right. I haven't seen my PDA anywhere either. And then there's the main hall here. The front exit is completely blocked by some giant metal hatch. But there wasn't anything like that when I first got here. What the heck? What's it doing there? The ultimate moral compass just said heck. That's like minus 20 social credit score, bro. Maybe we got caught up in some kind of, like, you know, crime or something. What, like a kidnapping? Like my cousin Tony? You think maybe someone grabbed us and hauled us off and we're not actually at school? The cocaine's starting to kick in, dude. Come on, don't think like that. Cheer up. I bet this is all just part of the school's orientation procedure. Yeah, there's guns on the door. There's guns, bro. Yeah, I'm sure that's it. So I'm just gonna take it easy for a little bit. He's freaking out. He's having a panic attack inside, holding his chest and everything. I know that feeling. I know that feeling, brother. Oh, so you think they wanted to do something to surprise us? Huh. Well, if that's all it is, it's nap time for me. I was up way too late last night, so I could use a little shut-eye. I could feel everyone's tension evaporating. But then, it began. Ding, dong, bing, bong. Oh, shit. It's the reveal of fucking Monokuma. Well, here's the deal. Monokuma, I've heard what his voice sounds like. And it's a lot like the voice I did for the main character. I could see if I can get there. Ahem, ahem. Testing, testing. It's kind of like that. I can try it.
Mic check. 1, 2. This is a test of the school broadcast system. Am I on? Can everyone hear me? Okay. Well then.
The voice seemed totally out of place. It was so playful, so completely unconcerned. I couldn't help but feel a deep, unnerving dread at the sound of it. It was like hearing someone laugh at the scene of an accident.
Ah, to all incoming students, I would like to begin the entrance ceremony at right now. Please make your way to the gymnasium at your earliest convenience. That's all. I'll be waiting.
It's kind of like a deranged Mickey Mouse, I guess. Nobody said I was a voice actor, okay? Except me. What the hell was that just now? What the hell was that just now? It's kind of like a start of a musical. Hey, where's the ultimate baseball star? He'd be so into it. What the hell was that just now? I can't. Tried singing in his accent that I do for him, and that was terrible. Well then, if you'll excuse me, I've got a golf game. Hey, what? You're gonna take off just like that? Oh yeah, now I get it. This whole thing was just to get us all pumped for the entrance ceremony. Man, thank God it was all a joke. I'd be totally freaked if this was real. This guy's right where we should all be mentally at this day and age, my friends. All right, guess I'll head out too. Wonder what they got planned for us next. Damn, I was totally looking forward to that nap too. Why'd they have to go and kill the mood? Wait for me, I want to go with you. That is it then. I will see you all there. Not that anyone cares, but I'm gonna go to Toko. That's right. Everyone took off for the gym, but I was frozen where I stood. That uneasy feeling I'd had before, I couldn't get it out of my mind, and it looked like I wasn't the only one. This doesn't seem right. It's hard for me. This doesn't seem right. Yeah, that announcement was totally weird. Kyoko, giri. Maybe, but just staying put doesn't mean we'll be safe. I'm all over the place. Maybe, but just saying put doesn't mean we'll be safe. Besides, Kyoko, giri. Besides, aren't you guys just a little bit curious to find out what's going on around here? If we do not move forward, we learn nothing. The only choice is to push ahead. I guess she's right. But still, I'm really nervous. We don't have a choice. We have to go. Why hasn't there been any Spotify music playing this whole time? Whoops. We were supposed to have some music going. Anyway, it just got really awkward there for me for a second. Just felt like the whole world was caving in. Alright. They said go to the gym, right? Do you want to save data? I would. Alright. I'm sorry that this set of gameplay here didn't have the hang on. Just just wanted to see if we had a way of actually closing the game, or if that's not something that can ever actually happen in here. Yeah, apologies for the lack of actual Danganronpa audio for this section of the game. I don't know what happened, but it would have been a pain in the booty to go and re-record this all. So that's what I did, and I'm enjoying it still. I think we'll continue with part 3 sometime later. But for everybody that's still here live, I think we'll call it for Danganronpa today. I'm going to go eat a bite or two for lunch, so I'll be back on in perhaps, I don't know, if I had to say, an hour tops, most likely. And when I do get on, I do be planning on playing some Counter-Strike. So Green, hold on to your butts, because we are going to be doing some fun stuff here soon. I'll see everybody in an hour, or if you're never going to watch me again, I'll see you in the afterlife. Wow, it was like almost timed with that drop of the music. It's pretty cool.